Hello and welcome back to my Ultimate Workbench series. Last time we got the basic bench built. Now that that's all in, let's take a look at how we're going to drop the table saw in and see what we can do for that. First of all, I dismantle the old table saw. It's been bashed around and battered about, it's got cuts all over it. So it's time to get rid of it because it's not sitting straight. Measurements are taken and noted down in my workbook so I can replicate the sides and make sure that there's no mistakes. Once I've done that, it's time to transfer all my measurements onto the wood and start with the cuts. I use a straight edge off of an offcut and clamp it down to the bench as a make-do track saw. So, now I've got my 4 pieces cut. Now I'm going to use some of these pre-existing bolt holes and screw together just to make a nice little box. I'm going to look using the upside down top to mark out where it's going to cut out the top here. That's then going to become the base to this box. The front's going to have a drop opening so I can still get in. Once I've transferred all my markings for the holes onto the wood, I make some pilot holes to ensure that there's no splitting before putting the sides together and driving home the screws. To help with the dust collection, I'm trying to make the box as tight as I can so no air can escape other than through the dust port. Once the silicone's in place, it's time to screw on the bottom. So it's now all boxed up. I've took off one of the top pieces, I've lifted it into place. I'm just going to work on some legs here that I can screw onto the side and lift it up to the required height. And now I've realised how much of a mess I made in the original build. The 2 pieces I used for the top aren't exactly half of each other. On top of that, the centre line wasn't at 90 degrees to the bench, which has caused some real issues when I've tried to fit it all back together. So I've chopped the pieces down into square lengths, put the table saw in the middle, and I've had to use a piece of scrap melamine just on the back. The added bonus with that is it's nice and slick and slides well for anything that's coming out after it's been cut. But it didn't have caused some problems trying to figure it all out. It's time to move on to the doors now. I've put in a couple of blocks just down here just to bring it flush level. I've got these soft close hinges that I believe will just go on like that. So they'll go on like that, screw down, and then that side cups into the opening of the door. So let's see how these get on. I use a 35mm Forstner bit on the door, and then once I've marked out the holes for the screws, I drive those in. And look at that, voila! It shuts on its own. I can't believe it. Something finally went right. The last bit now, you just stick my 73mm hole cutter straight through the back so I can hook up the dust extraction. For the exhaust, I used a piece of gutter down pipe that I cut about 10 inches off so I could wedge it in and have nice easy access for the dust collector. There we go guys, it's just about done now. It's all dropped in. I had to put a little bit of filler in where one of my pieces wasn't quite straight. Problem with using recycled timber. All I've got left to do now is add a handle to the front. We give it a very light sanding, and then maybe add some machine wax or some sort of paste onto it just to make it all run nice and smooth. And that's another one done. Managed to get the exhaust in. Good old gaffer tape just to take that little bit of extra wiggle room out of it. Overall, I'm happy, it's getting there.